So the dashboard view always shows a summary of my show file. If I need to look at that in greater detail, I do that by selecting the automation view on the screen. This then allows me much greater visibility into what's going on in my snapshots. So the three colours indicate green for the next scene in sequence and red for the previous scene in sequence. So if I hit the next button, we then go to the next snapshot and the next snapshot. If I hit the red button, we go to the previous snapshot and the previous snapshot. Nice and simple so far. As well as snapshot recall, we can also program a crossfade into the console. So instead of recalling all of the levels instantaneously, we can program a variable crossfade time for the console to make between two states. Crossfades can be input faders or also pan events, and pan events includes the surround sound facilities. So I can have a surround sound pan implemented as part of a snapshot recall crossfade. To load a crossfade, if we right click on a given snapshot and choose internal event, an internal event can be a crossfade, it can be a MIDI event, it can be a GPIO event, or it can be a notes event. So first of all, we can define what the event's going to be. Go to edit that and we can choose. So I've added my internal event. I'm now going to edit that. So first of all, I've got a choice about how the event is implemented, either from scene entry or scene recall, or a combination of recall, entry and exit. So depending upon the method I choose to enter that scene, that is either using the next button or using the jog wheel and the now button, will dictate whether or not the event takes place. I then choose what my event is. In this case, it's a crossfade event. I can also apply a time offset to the crossfade, so I can program in a time delay between recalling the snapshot and the event taking place. Not a lot of use for a crossfade event, but if we had a MIDI event or a GPIO event, it allows us to program in a delay before the MIDI event is triggered or the GPIO event is triggered, so I can have a time lag between recalling the scene and the event taking place. With crossfade events, I can adjust the fade up time and the fade down time of the faders. I can choose which channels on the mixer take part in the event. So I can have selected channels performing a crossfade at one speed, other channels performing a crossfade at a different speed, and other channels having an instantaneous recall to the level. So we can program some very powerful automated events into the console as far as crossfades are concerned. We can have multiple crossfade events in a single scene recall. So again, it's possible to have some quite complex events going on. And we can have multiple events during a scene recall which are related to different aspects of the automation. So when I recall a snapshot, I can have several crossfades happening, MIDI events taking place, GPIO events taking place, and also I can have some cue notes popping up on the screen to remind me to do certain things as part of the recall of the console. All of these can have time offsets applied to them, and again, all of them can be in multiple scenes. Scenes can have multiple events taking place.